There's only 4 things that you need to focus on as a real estate investor and operator, and I'm about to show you exactly what those are. Actually, there's 5, but we'll get to that. I'm Ross, been investing in real estate for over 15 years. I own multiple other businesses, and what I'm teaching you guys is my operating system that has helped me flip over 300 houses. I own 150 plus rentals, okay? And I do it as a solo operator, and it's because of this. We've gone through 3 different videos now. This is the 4th and last in the series on how exactly I keep track of all this stuff, the million things that come at you every day, how I get them into an organized fashion, how I trigger those things to be in front of me at the right time, and then also how I decide what the right things are to focus on every single day. Those are all the videos that we've watched up until now. This is exactly how I operate what we call the divisions section. And it starts with my all-weather approach. The 4 things that I personally am gonna focus on a regular basis. I've also spun up a website just to help you see all this stuff visually, and it also helps me give you this video. But anyway, this is the focus section. We've already been through the choke point, the activation, the command. Now we're on the focus. And this is the all-weather approach, the 4 things that you should personally focus on that are going to make the biggest difference in your real estate business. Everything else, I'm going to try like hell to delegate out, but it is finding great deals. I'm telling you right now that the biggest shift that you can make as a real estate operator, the thing that is going to set you up for success more than everything, is just to get a great deal on the front end. I know it sounds simple, but I'm telling you, what you think is a great deal is not a great deal. If you're buying houses on the real estate market, if you're buying them through wholesalers, you're probably not getting great deals. Okay, so a truly great deal, and then building strategic scopes of work. You shouldn't be trusting other people to build your scopes of work unless you've personally trained them and they're part of your team and you're overlooking those things. But setting up a smart scope of work from the start makes all the difference. Next is being a maniacal PM, project manager, and making sure that things are staying in order. We talk a lot about that. That's not what this video is about, by the way. I'm showing you how to keep track of all the crap, not how to actually do it. And then 4 is level up your vendors. So main vendors are, of course, your contractors. Next, wholesalers and realtors, those type of people. And then, you have your admin type of vendors like your CPA, your attorneys, et cetera, et cetera. So you're wanting to build the depth chart and always be increasing the skill level of those people in your CRM. Now, as a 5th thing of what you actually have to do are your necessary operations. Boring, I know. But what this video is about is showing you exactly how I keep track of all those things. So these 4/5 items that make up your all-weather approach, they really break down into 3 main divisions, which is jobs, deals, and ops. All right. Now, there are a few main systems that I have for each one of those divisions. And first, let's talk about jobs, because it is going to have the most systems for me to keep track of things. Now, going back to the previous videos, each one of these had different files, and mostly I keep those files in a similar way. But the divisions files are their own systems. All right, they're their own little systems, and this is how I keep track of those things. Okay, so first in jobs, project management, there is PM planning, project management planning, and basically you name the thing, the item, like I put a few examples in here: kitchen cabinet install, pull electrical permit, site plan, and here are the columns that I use to keep track of them. One is the type. Okay, so there's 3 different types: a job. That is a job that's on a project, like kitchen cabinet install is a job. And then there's a task, like something that is administrative related. Pull electrical permit, right? That's a task. Or add a lockbox to the door. That's a task. It's not a job that gets the project renovated. It is a task that is there for support. And then finally, a type of reference. So I have like site plan. That would be a reference file, something that stays as part of that project over time. Okay. And then there's, of course, the project that it's on, 123 Main Street. Who is accountable for that thing? Cabinet vendor, electrician, virtual assistant, and then the stage that it's in. So stages, just like in all of the other file keepers: agenda, pending, waiting, ongoing, and done. If you don't know what those things mean, go back to the first video. But basically, agenda is the inbox. Pending means that whoever was accountable for it, I've talked to them. They've accepted the challenge. Waiting is I can't do anything with it because there's something else in the way. That is not in that other video. Waiting is something that comes up because of project management. Ongoing is something that I need to filter every conversation I have with that accountable person. Done, obvious. Okay, next is the bid pipeline. Okay, this is how I keep track of bids and bills. 123 Main Street, the electrical job, probably only getting 1 or 2 bids for it, but whatever. I get my bid, I put it into my bid collection system. Now I can compare those things. Next phase in that bid pipeline is approval or denial. So I need to approve one of those. Okay. And then next, after I approve it, of course, work is going to happen. Ultimately, they're going to send me a bill. So I need to keep track of those bills so I can compare it against the bid to make sure that I never am too far ahead of the money or behind on the money, meaning I paid them more than the work that they've done. All right. The bid pipeline is how I do that. And then finally, if their work is approved, then of course I go deliver the check. All right. Next system is job costing. You got to have a way to do job costing, which, your cost of goods sold is the contractors. They send you invoices. Materials, you got a receipt for paint that you bought, or there's other costs like dumpsters, permit fees, etc. You really just need to keep what type of cost it is, the ones that I just told you, other materials or contractor, and how much it was. You need to know how much you're spending on each one of these projects, and you, of course, need to categorize it per project. So that way you know what stuff's costing you. That is going to help you build your intuition over time. And then finally, for the jobs division is the vendor CRM. Okay, vendor meaning contractor in this case. Mostly there's suppliers as well in there. But the columns: name, the contact info, phone and email, the trade that they're in, the status, that's important. Okay, here are the statuses: active, bench, meaning I'm not using them right now, but they're still good to go, just not using them. One off, it was some weird thing. I needed a water locator guy. It's one off because I don't use them very often. All right, my active people are people I use often. And then there's inactive, okay, is what I meant to say by bench, by the way. Oof, what a mess up. Bench means that I have spoken with them, but I have not used them yet. Okay, inactive means I've used them, but I'm not using them anymore. Fired means I fired them, never, do not contact. And then lead means that I was at a stoplight down the street and I saw a van pull up that fit my profile. They had a phone number on the side of their truck. I took a picture of it, put them into my contractor depth chart because I'm going to follow up with them later. Got it? Cool. Next is my deals database. All right. This is finding houses that I want to buy. Basically, I have the deals CRM, got the owner name, got the contact info for that owner, phone, email, and their mailing address. Or, right? I'm not going to have all for everyone. I have the target property, the one that I would be buying. And then I have their stage in the pipeline. Pipeline is new, follow-up, appointment, under contract, or closed. And then I have my status, which is either live, drip, or do not call. Okay, do not call, pretty obvious. Drip just means that it's somebody that is 30 days out or more from my next call. Okay. If I talk to somebody and they're like, oh, I don't want to sell my house, but they don't say, hey, F you, I don't want to sell my house. I would put them on a drip and I'd set the next call date for like a year from now just to see if maybe things have changed. But you pay for these leads. And so if they're not a screw you, they might be a maybe later. And I usually would ask them that, hey, can I follow up with you in about a year? And anyway, so as you see, I track everything by my next call. Okay, that's the most important metric for me. And then I have a column for notes for them. And finally, I have in deals, I have campaigns. So like my mail full list is the campaign name. The neighborhoods included. I would have all the neighborhoods that I sent to in that campaign. The buy box that I use, which broad is usually the one that I use, which is very defined. And then the audiences that I sent to, the motivation list that I added for this one, because if you've seen some of my other videos, you'll know that I have a very detailed filtering system on how I derive these lists for each neighborhood. And then I combine all those neighborhoods final list together to send a campaign. What it cost me to send all that mail and how many responses I got out of it. Those are the columns here. By the way, guys, just a sneak peek here. We got, check this out right here. This is something that I'm building for you guys. But this does all of that automatically. You can send your campaigns out. Called Homebase, homebasemail.io. I'll put a link in the description on this one here. I actually have you can sign up for the beta list. And if you're watching this later, hopefully the software is already out and then you can just, be using it. Tell me how you like. All right. Now finally we have the ops database. This one's simpler. We have 4 different tools that we use. One is simply a file just like all the other ones that has agenda, pending, waiting, ongoing, and back burner. And that's mostly how I track operation stuff. And I mean, this is a catch-all. By the way, guys, at the top here, we have the workflow library. And I basically gone through every workflow I can think of, every task that I could think of that could possibly that I'd have to do in operations, jobs, and deals. So you can go through that if you really want to read all of it. It's a lot, and it might be mind-blowing and overwhelming, but that's the whole point of this whole system, is that it is a lot. It is definitely a lot to do as a solo operator, but if you have a way to handle it, it's manageable. Obviously, I'm doing it. Okay. Operations, okay, you got your main file, and then financial statements. This is another thing that you have to track in ops, and that's basically your profit and loss statement, balance sheet, cash flow statements, and everybody's heard of QuickBooks. There's others like it. You need a financial software that keeps track of this crap. You can't do it manually. I don't think it's way too much. Next is my landlord review. Listen, I'm making a whole series of videos on how I manage my property manager, right? Because I'm not in there doing those things. I'm not the one leasing them up. But basically, I have the landlord review that I do every month and go through lots of different steps. But I put the most important 4 on here for you, which is review the financials, review unapproved maintenance. All right, so sometimes generally what you'll do is you'll set like a maintenance limit that says, okay, if it's anything over $500, I want you to call me to get approvals. Okay, well, sometimes there's things that are over $500 that ended up not getting approved, so I go and hunt those down every month. Review lease expiration dates. Okay, obviously your PM company is going to be doing these things as well, but you're always trusting but verifying. And so I have the expiration dates of all the tenants in all of my units. And I just want to make sure, hey, there's one coming up next month. Are they renewing? Do we have like a plan here? What kind of shape's the property in? And then confirm your actual to expected income. All right, this property is rented for $1,600 a month. I noticed that I got $1,500. What's up? Okay. And then finally is your capital asset management. Got every property that I own. These are the columns: property, value, what you think it's worth today, what your debt is or your mortgage on the property, the situation with your insurance. All right. Is it current, hopefully. And then property taxes, got to pay them. Make sure you got a plan for it, and then just notes about it. Now, obviously, my systems are probably a little bit more intricate than this. I have a lot more columns than that, but I'm trying to give you guys what you absolutely need. Took a lot of days to think through exactly what you would need, looking at, my PCAM, Paler, Capital Asset Management. I have like 75 columns in there because over the years I've tracked other things. That doesn't mean you need all of them. Finally, there's the guardrails, probably the most important part. Guys, we talked about exactly how you decide what you need to focus on, and how you get to your 3 priorities for the day, how that comes from your vision. That was in the last video. We've talked about how you process all this stuff and with your triggers, but without these guardrails, it does not matter. Okay, you got to be tough because there are so many distractions. There are so many shiny objects. There are so many rabbit holes to go down that it is just like human nature to go down them. Think social media, for example. But here's the thing, email is a perfect example. You go think, oh, well, you know what? I should just check my email real quick to make sure there's nothing super important in there. And then all of a sudden, hour later, after answering a bunch of emails, you're like, shoot, I was supposed to be focused on those other 3 things today. Okay, so that's why my audit calendar has a day that I look at my email, sometimes a couple days per week, depending on what I'm doing. Okay, but point is that you can't get carried away by things that are not your priorities. Okay, my email is just people asking me to do crap. Okay, I want to choose what I work on, because freedom truly is it's not going to sip Mai Tais on the beach. What freedom is choosing the struggles that you want to have every day, choosing the crap that you want to work on every day. Now, sometimes you got to do things you don't want to do, but the point is, ultimately, what you want to get to is I choose my struggles, not somebody else. Okay, I'm not saying don't check your email, by the way, but I do think that people who brag about having inbox 0 because they what they think they're saying is I am in total command of my email inbox. What it's saying to me is that thing owns you, man. If your inbox is at 0 right now, it owns you. All right, you got to be thinking about it all the time. Oh, ding, 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 and it's getting you dopamine hits every time. That owns you. You don't own it. All right, here are the 6 things that I wrote down as guardrails. Say no to anything that is not those 3 priorities for the day. Somebody wants to talk to you. They want to go get coffee. Shut up, man. Go get coffee with somebody else. You want to go to brunch? Go to brunch with your mom. I'm busy doing these 3 things. All right, set days or times to check communications. They're a black hole. They'll suck you in. We just talked about that. Avoid what I call LIFO. All right, last in, first out. Communication comes to you. Hey, you just got a fine or a violation at one of your properties for overgrown grass. Okay, LIFO would suck me in, and it would say, damn it. All right, I got to send that to the property manager. Got to do this. No, not for me. It goes in my inbox. I'll deal with it later. Okay. Don't let LIFO suck you in. That is the whole point of the filter. You sit down at the times of the day or time of the day or a couple times a week when you go to process your inbox and you say, that's where this goes. I'm going to deal with it at that time. Don't get in my head because it's not my top 3 priorities today. And then don't let people disturb you, pull you out of focus. No coffee breaks. Unless you planned it, unless you want to do it, but you need to check yourself. Inbox 0 is a lie. Yep. And then it's okay to leave tasks on the table at the end of the night. Type A'ers. You guys are achievers. So am I. Okay. And so you want to get things done. But leaving tasks and leaving things in your inbox is okay. All right. Trying to clear them out is a never ending, never winning game. The only win is choosing what you work on and strategically picking it apart until you get to the next and better place. The sheep herding mentality. Okay. If I'm constantly getting sucked in, LIFO'd, some of them sheeps are going to get lost. I'm never going to get to them. Okay. And so you have to be disciplined, and it's tough. I know. Okay. Like I said, we're achievers. We are building our real estate portfolios, and Luckily, I have a whole community of people who are doing just that. They're just like us. It's free for now in the description below. Check it out. Come join us. Everybody's in there helping each other with deal finding, managing contractors, what the heck to say to those guys in given situations. I'm in there as well. I answer every question that I can. I think that I'm pretty much at 100% there, but come join us. Guys, this video was part of a series of 4. Hopefully you've seen the other ones too. It'll make this one make a lot more sense. Thanks for hanging out. Talk to you soon.